Hey guys, and welcome to the Good Luck Have Fun podcast, episode 2. I'm your host, Kyle DeFrancisco, with my boys Joe and Andy. How you guys doing today?
Fantastic.
It's a Friday, can't complain.
It's a Friday. Hey, don't give out too much sauce. They don't know when we record.
Ooh, Friday, 6 p.m.
Friday, 6 p.m.
Don't hit me up, swear to God.
Yeah, guys, welcome. We're here to give you guys some talks about current video game news, have some debates, have some opinionated conversations, just kind of go through the news and everything you need to know. Today we got some things to talk about, not too much. Unfortunately, mostly bad, some kind of good, some kind of not so encouraging, but let's get into the kind of the meh so far. Andy, want to kick us off with our Game Awards kind of mini wrap-up that should have been a longer wrap-up, but not much shit happened?
Yeah, sure. So, obviously Jeff Keighley's been hyping up these Game Awards for this year.
As he should be.
As he should be after the Summer Showcase. Remember the Summer Showcase where they showed off Halo Infinite? And
he did a really good job during the pandemic. The peak of the pandemic, he kept everything super interesting.
Yeah, and he gave us an E3 when it should have been gone. Or I guess it was gone.
Yeah.
But anywho, so we start off with Mario just getting murked by Sephiroth, the newest fighter in Smash Bros. History.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, I was pretty shocked when for that reveal. I didn't know what to expect, but I was like, oh shit, okay.
Joe,
now there's 2 Final Fantasy characters in Smash.
Let me guess, Joe, you thought it was Waluigi coming.
Something like that, bro.
They gotta do it, right? Waluigi's gotta be the last one.
Dude, that's gonna be like the moment when Half-Life 3 is announced. Like, that will be that type of moment in video games. Like, social media will just kind of pause for a second in the gaming world, and nothing but Waluigi memes will be made.
Bro, when they announced Minecraft Steve, Twitter broke.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember that.
And no one gave a shit really about Minecraft Steve, to be honest.
I'm not buying him.
Yeah. Wait, you have to buy each character?
You can do that, or you can spend 20 for all of them. There's like 5 in the pack. There's 2 packs. So if you want all the DLC, it's $40 additional to the 60 for the game.
Oh, Nintendo got you all fucked up.
Yeah, I've never bought a single DLC character.
Could you like grind and get them in-game currency at all?
Fuck no.
Yo, Nintendo is gangster, bro. They are G's. They know, hey, y'all are gonna play this shit regardless. So yeah, good luck. Yeah.
Wow. They know people are gonna spend that. But anywho, next up, we got a trailer for the Initiatives project the quadruple A game that we've known they've been working on. Highly speculated, but yes, it was Perfect Dark.
That looked really good. Like that.
It did.
Obviously, it was just CGI. But Perfect Dark, the original, and Perfect Dark Zero are pretty decent games. And I mean, I don't know if they were worth rebooting in a quadruple A format, but it could be cool. I'm excited.
Yeah, as someone who's never played Perfect Dark, I'm excited to see what they do. You know.
Have you seen that trailer yet, Joe?
I have not.
It's pretty sick. We'll have to send that to you. It's pretty good.
Don't watch it in VR. You'll probably get sick. There's like a camera flying around doing all kinds of twirls and stuff.
I think Joe's good. I don't know if Joe No, I know Joe got the goggles that bring up his phone. He's
Dude, yes, sir.
Cardboard?
I'll go grab it. What's up?
Dude, those shits got those flicker things we used to have as kids. The fuck out of here. Them shits used to be the first VRs. Them shits was hard.
Oh, true.
The reels.
One of the last things that we saw was Mass Effect. All they said was Mass Effect will return. Yeah, like to be continued. We don't know what that means. I never beat Mass Effect 3. I played the first 2, and I played a little bit of the 3rd. But it's exciting stuff to see BioWare going back to.
I think next week we should have our BioWare, in-depth BioWare talk. A little bit too many things to talk about today, but BioWare doesn't really have a direction right now. Like, they still say they're going to bring back Anthem. They just announced Dragon Age. Like, how big is that studio, man? Like, there's not that many people working on it that they can work on 3 AAA titles at the same time.
Yeah, they could be getting spread thin there shortly. News that I'm very excited about is Flight Simulator for Xbox Series X.
Yo.
The first console exclusive only for the Series X.
Yo, Joe, you don't know about this Xbox life, bro. Hashtag Team Xbox. I'm with you, Andy. Nah, respect. No. Represent.
Listen, y'all have nice PCs. When Flight Simulator came out, I booted it up, and the game ran, and you can fly the plane, but it doesn't look good.
Yo, when someone says, yo, the game ran, like it loaded up, like, you know that shit was kicking.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited. I'm a little surprised it's not coming out till the summer, but it
Oh
is what
wow.
it is. Yeah, they
Now
said summer 2021.
is this the same flight simulator that's on the PC, just getting
Ported.
Yep, it's getting an
yeah.
Xbox release.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
You
I mean,
guys
that
like Left
game's
4
cool,
Dead?
man. That's like a really, I mean, when we talk about ambitious, we're going to be talking about Cyberpunk 27 or 2077 here. But that's a pretty cool game when you think about it. That you can go basically in Google Maps the whole world and be flying that shit. Now, how bored? You're probably going to get bored within a couple hours, but it's pretty dope.
Yeah, and then your plane crashes as soon as you like get going because you're like, I'm out of fuel, or you go too high or you go too low.
Oh, it's a real
Anywho.
simulator. It's not like no, just keep flying shit. Like you have to actually fuel up and
No, you have
shit.
to fly. Yeah, bro. I took off from like the airport that's like 3 miles from my house. I'm like, let me go to Baltimore real quick. And like, yeah, I got to Baltimore, but I don't know how to lay out a fucking plane. So you just end up
I'd be
like crashing.
fucked. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't think anything else
So
really.
Yo, back in the day, side story. Sorry about this. Back in the day, my grandfather had Flight Simulator like 2007.
Oh, that
Like,
shit was
old
fire.
news, old news. But he had the joystick and everything, like the joystick, the
Oh,
command
the
center.
setup. Oh
yeah, the
shit.
yoke.
Yes, sir. And he said it's like obviously today it's probably even better, but he said in 2007 that it was exactly like flying a plane because he was a pilot. He said it gives them the
Damn.
same feeling. I thought that was awesome.
That's insane.
So I can land a plane, ladies and gentlemen. I've done it
Allegedly,
before. You
allegedly.
know.
Okay.
Yo, if I
So
see
if y'all need a
Joe,
ride,
if I ever see Joe as my fucking pilot, I'm getting out. I'm not getting on that plane. I'm not sitting down waiting for my ticket to be checked. Nah, son is crashing this shit on some like Hudson River shit.
listen, bro. Last piece about this. When I was playing that flight simulator, I was going between buildings
Yo,
sideways. I
I
mean,
think
listen,
that's
He
what
was
we
playing that shit like it was Spider-Man.
I'm nice.
we should be the flight simulator podcast. We just keep giving updates with flight simulator patches and everything like that. That'd be
They're
tough.
giving the podcast within a podcast. But anywho, next up, the developers from Left 4 Dead, or the creators originally, are working on a spiritual successor called Back for Blood.
Uh-huh.
The first, me and Kyle were talking about this. Zombie games seem to be a common thread this year at the Game Awards in
Yeah.
terms of reveals.
Was that the
But at least this
cartoony
one's
looking one?
respectable. No, it was the very first one.
Oh,
It looks just like Left 4 Dead.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But
They all
yeah,
melded into me after the 17th one, so
yeah, there
you
there
know
was
what?
way too many zombies. I thought it was 2012.
You know what I think is crazy? Back for Blood's probably gonna be dope, but Call of Duty's has a better zombies game mode, and it's just the third game mode
yo,
part of the game.
you
It
are
ain't
a
even part of it.
wild boy.
Yeah,
Listen.
you ever played Left 4 Dead 2,
You're a
bro?
wild
Yes, sir.
You're a
Do you
wild
think Call of
boy.
Duty Zombies is better?
I'd play that 100 times over
Joe's
before I
just a
go on Left 4
stan.
Dead.
Joe gets on me
Listen.
for being a stan on shit, but he stands a lot of shit, man. Like he will go to bat for some shit. And
Yes,
I
sir.
respect it. I respect it.
I mean, I definitely have more hours clocked into Nazi zombies and stuff, but Left 4 Dead 2 is a special. It's got a special sauce in there. Like the multiplayer experience is
whoa! I don't
unlike
want to hear about
anything.
no one's special sauce, bro.
You don't want to
This
hear
ain't
about the
that-
Valve special
No,
sauce?
this is not Call Her Daddy podcast, bro. This
Is
the
that
Good Luck,
shit they
Have Fun
it's on the
podcast.
floor in Portal 2?
God damn. Sounds like the ASAP Rocky shower scene, bro. Wildin'. All right. Anything else from our correspondent at the Game Awards?
We got a couple more. We got a couple more. All right.
Sir.
This is the
Part 2,
longest
baby.
short wrap
You guys big Vin Diesel fans?
Oh my fucking
Yes, sir. I saw that one.
All right.
I like
Keep going,
dinosaurs. Joe, you like dinosaurs?
Bro, second favorite animal, bro.
You like Vin Diesel with dinosaurs and some random little girl that I'm presuming is his daughter?
I don't know. It's the old days.
It doesn't make
Okay.
any sense to me.
Vin Diesel's been in more video games in the past 3 years than he has been in movies. All right, this guy's getting with a wild boy. First of all, and second of all, he wasn't a pretty good video game back in the day. Triple X, that one was hard.
That's based on this movie, right?
Yes, but the game was like pretty excellent for being a port of the movie. I'm not playing this. Arc 2, nah, I'm good. Vin Diesel looked like he was drawn on to a mannequin. I'm good.
I asked this last night. I don't remember if anybody answered. When they say Arc 2, is there Arc 1 or is Arc 1 just survival?
Yeah, Arc 1's just the survival one, I'm pretty sure.
So they've gone from like an open world Minecraft type to a linear story a la God of War, it seems like, is the transition here.
Well, I don't know.
Is there a story mode in Survival Evolved? It just seems like like you spawn in and survive.
Bro, Joe just said dinosaurs were his favorite animal, yo. Like, ask him. I don't be rocking with no dinosaurs.
Yeah, I'm the king in Ark survival right now. I got a throne and 3 dinos in the back, so it's not linear. You can take over the world in that game.
Have you actually played it?
Yeah, bro.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no.
You said that shit like you've been clocking in like hundreds of hours and we've talked
game,
about it.
Bro.
All right, yo. There's a cult fan base for that game. Like,
it's surprisingly good. Like it doesn't look, especially as like a viewer, it doesn't look all that, enticing, honestly. But when you're actually there playing it, it gets pretty addicting.
Very nice, very nice. There's announced the new Among Us map that basically leaked.
That was fire.
Now that's big news. Now that's big news. Y'all better put that top 5.
Top five.
Did they say when it's coming out? Before the end of the year, early
2021. I think they said early 2021. If I remember
think that's
correctly.
what it said too.
I think it's cool. I like that you can drop in anywhere after the meetings, like 3 different spots. I think that's dope. It's gonna create some.
That'll make it a lot more interesting. Yeah, and I'm betting the map's gonna be pretty big too.
Yeah,
but maybe not since you're spawning a different. And to round things out, I mean, there's a bunch more I could go over here.
Not really.
Well, I mean, I say that there's the Swedish chef coming to Overcooked.
Okay, like I
huge
said,
announcement, right?
Bro, I was at Wawa when I said that shit. I thought I went to the wrong Twitch channel, bro. They started about the Swedish fish. I was like, what the fuck? I was like,
no, but Master Chief and Blood Gulch in Fortnite.
Okay, yeah.
We knew it was coming. We talked about it last week.
Yeah,
it happened. But then we got Red vs. Blue crossover with Ninja.
That's hard.
Crossover with Fortnite.
That's hard.
I like to see that. That was pretty cool.
I do like that they have the OG map in Fortnite now. That's hard. It's
and
Fortnite's our monster, man.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that about rounds it up. Nothing to note from Nintendo. Nothing to note from Sony. Microsoft's the only one here that really showed off anything first party. Kind of really surprising to me, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate the 2 biggest announcements. I guess the only one that really surprising one was Dragon Age with a big announcement. Like that was a pretty big one that people were surprised about. Everything else was kind of predictable. Like we knew the initiative was working on Perfect Dark. Like we were like 90% sure everything. Tom Schreider was reporting that shit for 6 months now. So it's cool. It was fun night, I guess. I mean, it was cool texting you about it. It could have been an hour and a half, 2 hours. Shout out my girl Sid. That's really it. That's
okay.
All.
Oh, and Whooper Watch. My Whooper Watch is concluded. I saw
God, she could have. She's still on Whooper Watch.
Now here's the question of the day. So it's the Game Awards. You guys talked about the announcements. So let's talk about the awards.
Who gives a fuck about the award?
What do y'all think about Game of the Year? That's my only question.
Yeah, congrats. You're freaking your GOAT won Game of the Year. Yeah, some industry shit.
I'm thinking the nominees. I want to look at the nominees. And I'll tell you how many of them that I played.
So
I just beat The Last of Us 2.
So it was what? Doom Eternal,
Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima,
that's good.
Hades, Animal Crossing, and Last of Us.
Yo, why'd you scrunch your face at Animal Crossing, bro? That's mad disrespectful.
Yeah, dude. Animal Crossing brought the world together.
I was about to say, bro, that was during the peak of pandemic.
I think it won. Animal Crossing won Best Family Game. I played it a lot.
Joe, did you play The Last of Us Part 2?
I played The Last of Us Part 1. Just knowing that.
Just knowing that shit's fire. Yeah, Joe, this was like, you remember when Macklemore won Best Rap Album over Kendrick?
No.
This is kind of like that.
Nope.
Damn. Animal Crossing's Kendrick? That's crazy.
I don't think so. I think if anything, Ghost of Tsushima would have been Kendrick, but I never played that. So
yeah, that's really all it. I mean, games were kind of mid this year, yo. Nothing was like a standalone, like a standout game. Like there wasn't anything, like there wasn't a clear cut like God of War. Like that was Game of the Year. It was kind of whoever's second. What the year before that? What was that? 2018? No, 2017. Like I don't know. Really wasn't excited about any of the awards this year.
Yeah, I was. One thing I expected to get was a release date for Ratchet and Clank Ripped Apart, because they said that's a launch window game for the PlayStation 5. Nothing.
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought that was supposed to launch with the game. With the PS5.
They said launch window.
Launch window.
So,
what the fuck does that mean?
What the fuck's a launch window, bro?
Joe, you're our PS5 correspondent. What's the launch window, bro?
Launch window 2020 to next gen console. That's the launch of the PS5. Let's go.
Until PS6 comes around, bro. It's in that launch. That launch window.
It happens sometime.
It's technically still
Speaking
launching.
speaking of launch windows here.
Oh,
Segue
King. Segue King.
Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite
Let's
has
go.
officially been delayed to what I would consider personally outside of the launch window for the Series X.
Jesus. Okay. It's kind of fucked up, but you're right. You're not wrong.
Now, is that coming to PC?
Yes.
It is coming to PC.
Yes,
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can relax.
Joe's like, thank God I
So
want to
really-
buy a Series X.
But yeah, so they didn't give us a release date. They just confirmed what we all suspected, which is that the game is currently being I don't want to say remade because we don't really know what's going on with it, but it's been through development woes and they've had so much turnover in the leadership for the game that they've decided to rework, I'm guessing, a lot of it.
Yeah.
So they released some images and they showed a picture of some weapons, they showed a picture of a multiplayer map. The game looks better than it did in that campaign section, just from the multiplayer map. It really evokes that Halo feeling just from pictures.
It looks crisp. It looks ray tracy. Like the lighting in it looked like it had some ray tracing going to it. The demo, I guess, or the reveal of the gameplay really didn't have that ray tracy feel. It looked like a Halo ported onto the Xbox Series X with like upgraded graphics, nothing like too next gen.
We didn't say the game will be coming out fall/winter 2021, so like a full year.
It's a shoo-in for November, right? Like
it's got to be, unless like something bad happens and it gets delayed again.
Like here, let me take us out of this screen. I'll look it up. I think every Halo's come out in November, right?
Halo Reach did not come out in November.
Okay. Halo series. Let me see if I can get.
But mainline Halo games, you're probably right.
Yeah. I wish I could just get the release dates. They're not too simple. Yeah, I think you're looking at November. I think they're gonna hit that holiday window. I think they're gonna want to make sure that their multiplayer is 100% right, because up until now we thought the multiplayer was not releasing with the game, right? I think we just thought it was campaign and then the multiplayer was coming later.
Well, I hope not, because multiplayer is what I would want to spend the most time in. Plus, it's going to be free to play multiplayer.
Right. Well, that's why I thought our original estimation before it got delayed, when it was a launch title, that it was only going to be the campaign. So it's nice that they delayed it for that, and it's nice that they kind of gave us an idea. They didn't just do the Crackdown thing when it was like, hey, we delayed it. It's going to come out eventually. Just wait on it. So I'm cool.
Yep.
I mean, pessimistically optimistic. So let's see. Halo 3 released in September. The first two were in November. Halo 3 ODST September. Halo Reach was September. So we're looking at a September, November, October if we're going on past releases. I say late October, early November is probably what you're looking at.
I'll be there.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
I'm excited. I'm glad that, as we're going to talk about here, we're a game that probably needed another 12 months to curate or 6 months to curate. I'm glad that the team realized that just because it's a Halo launch doesn't mean it's a good title. Like, if you were just rushing this to be a launch title, it could have still flopped, and it could have really fucked shit up for your franchise. And Halo 5 could have
killed the IP.
Halo Infinite cannot miss. If it misses, it's basically going to be a legacy title at that point. So
then maybe he'll be in Smash.
You excited for it, Joe?
I haven't really gotten into Halo, so I played a little bit of it, and I think the multiplayer is kind of fun, but I don't think, from what I've seen of the new Halo, it would give me more excitement than a new Call of Duty, if that makes sense. So, not really a Halo fanboy, but obviously I'll play it, especially if it's on Game Pass, and I think that's the what they're going with. So
yeah,
that's the key, right?
And especially your friends are going to be playing it from Xbox to PC. So you'll play it for that first month and then probably. And the thing is, you didn't really get into it back in the day for the campaign. So whatever campaign really comes out now, granted, it's kind of a new chapter in the Halo story. You're still not going to have the ties to any of the characters or Master Chief itself.
It's like the Mandalorian.
Yeah, Mandalorian stuff. Shout out to Disney and their investor meeting shit. What do you?
Yeah, that could be a whole podcast on its own.
What are you doing? Fucking gang signs over there?
I'm saying no spoilers. I'm like 3 episodes behind of the Mandalorian.
I haven't kept up. I'm
how, dude? I get home from work on Friday and I watch it because
that's what he's doing.
Somebody in my house is flagging. I'm not gonna say who.
See, that is the best part of not having a girl, man, is that you don't have to wait to watch shit. Like, Joe, you can just nod your head. You don't got to contribute to this, bro. But if I had to wait to watch content, like, I'd be so pissed. Like, I can't listen to this podcast because we listen to this together. Fuck. Like, I'd be sick. It would be sick. So shout out to Joe being married. You're lucky your girl's not a gamer because I would never see you be like, yeah, honey, we can play. We can play it together. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Halo's cool. Let's stay with Xbox here for a second, and let's get into the news of Xbox xCloud finally coming to iOS and PC coming next year.
I've been waiting for this.
Apple stopped being hoes. Congrats, Apple.
Apple kept being hoes, bro.
Explain.
Okay, so the way that, Apple created a rule set, and Microsoft said, nah, I don't want to listen to your rule set. We're just going to do this browser-based solution instead. So you go to GamePass.com, log in with your account, and go, like Stadia, rather than having to have an app on your phone specifically for streaming.
Right.
And that's the workaround.
Okay. Well, so they just
because the internet's free.
Right. Okay. Right. So it's technically not an app. It just works on iOS.
Yeah.
Things.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll work. I guess it'll technically work on anything that has an internet browser.
Yeah. At this point, yeah. I think it's long overdue for it to be on PC. Screw iOS. I mean, it's gonna be cool that I can play it on my phone, but I was really excited to try it on my PC since it has the Ethernet, cord into it and hardwired and everything. I want to see how that works. I think this is big. I mean, we talked about a little bit last week how streaming's the future, and once that starts actually kicking up, and I've always thought that xCloud was kind of the ace up the sleeve Xbox had over the other two. Not necessarily Nintendo, but kind of talking about Sony. So I think it's awesome that we finally get to see that on on probably the system that's going to be most utilized on for the most part, and that's probably PCs and mobile phones of Apple too. Most people still have Apple phones, so it helps.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. I think a lot of people have the ability now. Like, my computer can't run games to a point where I would be satisfied. That's why I have the new consoles. So being able to play games on my PC through streaming instead, as long as there's no lag or anything, I'm with it.
Go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to ask a question, and you guys are talking about iOS, but if it's browser-based, would Androids be able to have the same service?
Androids can run the Xbox Game Pass app. They have actually an app on their phone that runs the service. When we said Apple's being hosed, they're not allowing that app to do that because they don't allow streaming stuff with their apps and all that shit.
Yeah, the way that Apple wanted to do it was saying, oh, we'll let you do it, but you have to have a separate app for each game. So just for the Game Pass catalog, in total, you download over 100 apps if you were to have all of them.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Even though it would just be streaming. Yeah, and you'd have to share revenue with Apple as well, of course.
Yeah, so it's a workaround. I respect Microsoft figuring it out. And I think bringing your Game Pass anywhere you want, if it realistically works, granted data restrictions and internet connection, that's fucking huge, bro. Like, that is insane. Granted, some people might say the Game Pass library lacks in quality games. It's more quantity and quality at times, but like Skyrim's coming to it. All the new developers that they just brought on, all their games are going to be coming to it day one. And the fact that, I could take it on a trip with me. Let's say you're going out somewhere, freaking, let's say some stupid state like Florida, and you're going down there and you're in a hotel room. You bring your laptop, but your laptop really can't game, you can still play your games in the hotel room that night. I mean, there's just so many ways you just look at it, and it's just going to create an ecosystem that is unlimited at this point. It's nuts.
Yeah, as a kid, it's all I wanted. You know,
just take your games
and
anywhere.
now
right?
I'm an adult, and it's happening.
As a kid, all I wanted was a nice PC that ran games as good as the adults, the professionals. Bought that PC, and now I don't need it. So let's go.
Nah, you'll still need it, bro. You'll still
Say that
need
you
it.
were your trash at all the games.
Let's go. You know, I wonder if streaming games, like not necessarily say it goes full streaming, I wonder if the download size for games decreases. Like maybe it'd be a hybrid thing. Like even if you don't want to go full xCloud, like say you only need 60 gigabytes for Cyberpunk instead of 120 now, because the other 60 can be streamed at a less bandwidth rate than that other 60 gigs. I wonder if that's kind of a way to get around the whole storage debacle we're having recently in gaming.
I think it could definitely be considered as an option, but people do have data caps. So I don't think it's going to become something that's necessary.
Yeah, shout out Comcast. It's lit.
Yeah, you got them now too, Kyle. I saw it was all the East Coast basically is getting data caps here.
Yep, it's lit out here in these streets. Yeah, Comcast is great, man. Great. Pay so much money for them, and they just keep taking shit away. Shout out. Great service though. Anything else you want to talk about xCloud? I mean, it's
No, but I got another fire transition ready.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
Wow, that's excellent.
All right. So we were just talking about game streaming.
Sorry, hold up, Andy, real quick. Yo, Joe,
What?
don't ever make an excellent joke about X. I'm not gonna do this with you on this pod, bro. We're not having this each week because we're gonna talk about.
I thought
Xbox.
I could slide that in. I thought Andy was gonna.
No, I
peeped.
peeped.
I was just gonna slide.
I peeped, bro. Go, Andy.
All right.
Cutting that shit in the neck now.
We're talking about game streaming. You know what game I want to play on streaming after experiencing it is Cyberpunk 2077. Because apparently on Google Stadia, which the game is out on, that seems to be the best place to get the best performance without having a beefy PC.
Oh wow!
I don't know
Are
if
we
that's
ready
a
for the
vote of
Cyberpunk
confidence.
conversation?
Wait a minute, Andy. What platform did you play? The Series X, right?
Yes, I purchased the game on my Series X. Now the game runs an Xbox One X version on the Series X. It's not a Series X optimized version.
Not yet, right?
It is not yet. It comes later.
next year.
So I think I've had a relatively good experience. I've had some hitches with loading, which doesn't make sense because there's an SSD, but like the loading is quick. The game runs fine. But these visuals, man. They're all the advertising that they use, they're probably running that shit on 3090s. Because it looks nothing like the advertising. Like, it's still pretty atmospheric, and the game can look good in certain environments, like with the neon lights in the city, and it's kind of hazy and dark outside. It looks cool, but it also it doesn't live up to what I envisioned in my head. And maybe that'll be different when the definitive, or not the definitive, but the Series X version comes out and the PlayStation 5 version comes out. But what we really should talk about are the base consoles and the performance for those.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest here. Let's take a couple steps back here, since we're kind of just knee deep in Cyberpunk at this point. We were all communicating on Monday when the embargo lifted. It left a really bad taste in my mouth how they handled the Monday to Wednesday I guess not even just Monday to Wednesday, really how they were getting the codes out to people and how they were allowing them to review the titles, right? So, if you don't know, up until the launch of Cyberpunk on Wednesday, right? Or Wednesday, pseudo Thursday, you could not use original content, original game clips, original any playthrough on reviews. You had to use CD Projekt Red given clips in your reviews. Now, granted, probably not that big a deal, but it's kind of like you're trying to hide something there. You know, when you go out of your way to do that type of shit, it feels kind of shaky for me. And then also to realize that no one got any console codes to review. It was only PC codes. That's like, I feel like you should be able to, like, I don't know, pick. Like, I get maybe not wanting them to all review it on PS4s or Xbox Ones. I get that. But to not even have a PlayStation 5 code ready or an Xbox Series X or S code kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. I was like, what are you hiding? Now, again, giving CD Projekt Red the benefit of the doubt, they've earned that. And then to realize come Wednesday night, Thursday, that you can't play these games on these base consoles. Like, you just can't. Like, it's not worth $60. It's not worth $30. It's like you're playing an alpha early access type of a game. And especially when you see how it's looking on the PCs and the other consoles, it's a completely different game. It's making me hesitant to then purchase it on my computer that can run it great. Like, I don't know, if they were just to be transparent about all these, I'd be okay. But the fact that it felt like we were being bamboozled, hoodwinked, run astray, run amok, I can keep going. It just felt weird to me, like buying it. Like, I don't know. It just, I'll let y'all talk. I kind of just want to get off my chest. It was kind of weird.
What do you think, Joe?
Well, no, I think Kyle hit it right perfectly. I think, when a game like Cyberpunk that has been hyped for so long gives out review codes and then doesn't let people be creative in their reviews, showing gameplay, stuff like that. I think they knew that, they were going to find some problems in the game, especially on these console versions. And obviously after the game comes out, people start playing them and posting their experiences. It just showed that was the case. Consoles have terrible time running this game. Every version of the game has glitches and bugs that can break the game, make you have to reset your save. Just things that, from a game that's been delayed so long, you really shouldn't have. At this point, delay it again. Delay it another couple months. If you can make a day 1 patch or a day 2 patch that's going to fix these bugs, you can delay it and make these.
Let's bring it up.
So, no, I think the way that they went about it, they knew that people were going to be upset with how the game was going to be released, and they wanted to make the best of that. And to me, that was shady.
Absolutely, dude. They could, like, in theory, we're like, yeah, this game probably should have just keep getting delayed. They're publicly held. They can't keep delaying this game.
Yeah.
I mean, this game was supposed to come out, like, what, in June? Even before that, like,
April.
March? April.
Yep.
Yeah. So imagine if that happened. See, I think their initial timeline was to release in April, and then they have, 6 months to work on the next-gen versions or whatever.
Yeah.
And by them keep delaying it, they get to a point where, okay, the base game has to come out because their shareholders obviously aren't very happy with them. And we'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so now, like, the people with the new consoles, I mean, we say new consoles, these consoles have been out a month. The Xbox came out a month and a day ago today. But they're still new consoles, and people want to take advantage of that power that they just bought. So it's just a lose-lose situation for them. And the fact that, I guess the way they optimize the game for the base consoles, which I would say is probably where a majority of people play on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, more so the PlayStation 4.
Especially since no one can get the PlayStation 5s or Xbox Series X's, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the game runs like this bad, I would be livid, bro. I wouldn't buy it. Like, this happened to me with Control, but I kind of knew it was going to happen to me. Because I bought, the game came out, Control, by Remedy. It was $40. It was $40 the week it came out at Target. I'm like, well, it's $40. The game just came out. Let me just buy it and see how it runs on my Xbox One S. I played, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours of it, and it just got to the point where it ran so poorly. I'm like, fuck it. I'll just wait till I get the new console that it'll run fine. And that's exactly what I did. I've been playing Control now that I have a machine that can actually run it.
And it's
but that's how it's going to be with Cyberpunk.
But
yeah, it's a great game.
Kind of ruined it for you a little bit, though,
Yeah, especially when I popped in the game, like, what the hell am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
But that's another story for another time. But, I mean, these 24 frames per second running on these consoles looking like a PlayStation 2 game, it's just ridiculous.
Here's a great question. If the game runs like this now, what do you guys think the game look like in April?
I don't know. I don't know if it could look much worse than it does on base.
I think, let's say this. I think they screwed themselves with the timing they released on two fronts. You released it so close to the release of a new console during a pandemic that you had to release it on older consoles, right? You wouldn't have got a big enough player base to just release on the new consoles.
Well,
right?
bro, in 2012 when they announced the game, the Xbox One, and the PlayStation 4 weren't even in existence yet.
Right, right.
So like that, like the entire like length, this was always an Xbox
Yeah,
One and a PlayStation 4 game first.
I get it. But what probably happened was probably towards like 2017-18, they started getting the developer boxes for both PS5 and the Xbox Series X, kind of what it would be moving forward. And they probably said, well, we're going to want to optimize it for that, and we can just scale it back. It's easier to scale back than scale up, you know what I mean? So that's probably what they thought in theory. They didn't realize going too much gave a diminishing return to how much you can scale back. They was almost too ambitious in their Series X and PC versions that going back to the regular PlayStation 4s and Xbox Ones just wasn't feasible. Yeah, man, I don't want to say I understand why CG Projekt Red did what they did. To Andy's point, they're publicly owned. At the end of the day, the bottom line kind of dictates what you do. There's not too many big time developers anymore that are privately owned or can make their decisions, kind of swiftly. Valve is kind of really the only one we have left at this point, and you kind of see how they move. They don't release games they still haven't brought out Half-Life 3. Any publicly owned entity would have had Half-Life 6 already out, not let alone Half-Life 3 or Half-Life 4 or 5. But we have this conversation, and we always talk about the quote from Miyamoto: a delayed game is eventually good, a rushed game is always bad. Like, it's just these companies got to realize you're stepping over $1 to get the 20 cents. Like, take a step back and realize there's money to be made with making a perfect Cyberpunk 2077 for everybody. And if that means waiting an extra year, so PS4 and PS and Xbox Ones are obsolete and everyone has a PlayStation 5, then that's what they got to do, man. Like, doing what they did right now and fucking up the rollout for the most hyped up game in forever should be the least of, like, the worst option. That should be the option we throw away at the meeting right away. I don't see a positive in that. But, when money starts getting to a hold, you kind of get what goes on. My dad talked to me yesterday about how the two most recent games he's been excited for have been Marvel Avengers and World of Warcraft Shadowlands. One game decided, we're gonna portray that we got our shit together. We're gonna meet our goals. We're not gonna push back. And that was Avengers. And that game released broken with no content and fucked. And 98% of their fan base no longer plays that game anymore. Like, it was the biggest drop in PC gaming history. Curtail it to now Shadowlands, which is the only World of Warcraft expansion that has been pushed back, is now probably the smoothest World of Warcraft launch ever. Like, in any expansion. No hard crashes, realms were open up, and they're getting love for it. Like, these business guys got to realize how this video game shit works. I'll shut up again. I'm sorry for taking up 20 minutes of your time.
No, you're right. You're right. But another, like, I guess the way the game has been advertised, if they were to push the launch outside of Xbox One and PlayStation 4, that would be unprecedented. I don't think they could have gotten away with that.
What do you mean, just going away from the? You're saying going away?
Yeah,
from
saying okay, this game's been in development for too long, and now the game can't run on these consoles, so we're just not going to release it. I mean, think like pre-orders and all. Like, I don't know, a lot of people play digitally these days, but pre-orders are huge. They announced 8 million people pre-ordered this game, yeah. And I guess mine counted because I pre-ordered it the day before because Xbox wouldn't let me download the game. Yikes. Like normal. But that's another story for another time. But I don't think that would have been a feasible option to push the. I think it might have been better.
What happened,
Yeah, but The Witcher 3 when it came out was also a buggy mess. They spend time fixing these games.
Go ahead, Joe.
No, I was just chuckling at Andy's remark about Xbox not letting him pre-download the game
again.
That's fucked
up, right?
Yeah, and we're saying all this. They really did mess the rollout up, and I think that if the game was released in a better state, the reviews would be off the charts. Because at the end of the day, from what I've seen, people do really love the game. They just can't stand the state it's in.
Yeah,
like they really want to love it, but they can't because they're blocked by these glitches, bugs, visuals, stuff like that. So, this game might still go down in history as one of the best RPGs of all time. It just might take a while for it to get fixed and personally, I plan to still play this game once everything is taken care of. So we'll just have to see, what CG Project Red can come up with as a solution.
Yeah, this is going to be their baby for like the next year or so, and I think you're going to see a lot of improvement.
Oh yeah, and I went on a fucking 8-minute rant just to say, yeah, this game's gonna, to Joe's point, be eventually really, really good, and it's gonna be really, really awesome. And I guess my biggest problem is that if BioWare, if Blizzard, if Naughty Dog, if anyone else, if Bethesda would have released a game like this in this state on a console, it's like how much shit Bethesda got for Fallout 76. It's comparable. I mean,
I've seen people call this game Cyberpunk 76.
I mean, bro, like, I'm seeing just as many bugs. And honestly, 76 was an online game, so you can almost understand it a little bit more why there might be some bugs with it. This game is a solo game. Now, granted, it's more ambitious than 76 was, even being a solo game. But, I don't know, it's eventually going to be good, just like Fallout 76 is good now, just like Destiny was good, just like Destiny 2 was good, just like every other game that comes out is bad, but it's like, I don't know. You could have something really special here. Wait until July.
Imagine if Breath of the Wild came out like that, like the way Cyberpunk is.
I think Nintendo would have got leeway, just like CD Projekt Red is, but it wouldn't have been as special. And you're relying on people to revisit a game, not
exactly.
You get this 10 million people up front. What if only 3 million people go revisit it? I don't know. No.
Yeah, that time when Breath of the Wild came out was a special time. Everyone was playing it on their Switches. Oh man, it was great.
Yep.
And there's so much in that game,
Joe
and
I wants to say something bad about this so bad. He wants to say something stupid about Breath of the Wild so bad.
Try not to, bro.
I see him, yo. I see him. Oh, man. You guys got me
No
mad.
slander on the pod. You're lucky. No slander on the pod.
Not yet. I'm slander. No, we can slander. Go ahead, bro. I'll slander. Ready? The Last of Us, not that great. No, what Andy said last week about Witcher 3, that
was flagrant.
Wild. Like people can't have opinions about genres, bro.
That was wild, right? Now, I respect your opinion, and it was a wild boy one, but hey, one of us got to give a crazy opinion every week.
Oh, yeah.
So go ahead, Joe. Go on that ledge.
Listen, Breath of the Wild. I can't do it. So many people love that game, man.
Pussy.
I haven't played it to really hate it.
Yo, that's what I love about Joe, yo. That's what I love. Joe will not play shit. He won't hear shit. He won't see it and say that shit's trash just to be funny. I fuck with my boy.
This shit's a cartoon? Trash.
I thought it looked dumb until I started to actually look into it. And like I got the Switch pre-order. I'm like, well, this is the game that I'm going to be playing. But anywho, I guess maybe we want to circle back to The Witcher 3. It's kind of, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Schitt's Creek. It's on Netflix. No. Well, a lot of people hate the show when they first start watching it, but once they like get past that first season, it's like a slog. They like immediately fall in love with the show, and that's how I feel like maybe it's the same thing with The Witcher 3. Like you just have to get into the game, do like a certain number of quest lines, and then you're in.
Yeah, that's how most RPGs are too. They don't. Unless you're playing the first-person shooter action adventure shits that start out right away, all RPGs take.
Well, bro, I'm 4 hours into Cyberpunk, and I'm still in the prologue.
Fuck.
Jesus.
Fuck, it's like Assassin's Creed and shit, bro. Fucking that game was just as bad, bro. Just as bad. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Round up. What you guys been playing this week? What you been playing this week, Joe?
So I've been playing more Spider-Man. Playing some of that. I've been playing Call of Duty Zombies, the superior zombies experience.
All right, let's talk about the real game. How's Spider-Man treating you?
It's good, man. I actually like what they did from the previous Spider-Man from the PlayStation 4. They definitely upgraded it in terms of the combat having flexibility in what you do, and the animations and stuff. It's really good, and I can definitely see a difference now that I've played it a little while, just how much they've upgraded it. So
did you beat the first one remastered?
Yeah, I beat it.
So now you're playing Miles Morales.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yep. Tough, and then I'm still waiting to play God of War. I'm sitting here itching to play it as we speak.
Tough.
That game will suck you in too.
Back to a Sony fanboy. Thank you, Sony.
Thank God.
Sony,
So you've been rocking just Cyberpunk this week, Andy?
Yeah, I only sat down and played it. Oh, it was actually Wednesday night before the game came out. I switched my Xbox to New Zealand, took a little trip, played it for the evening.
Oh boy, yo,
Yeah.
gamers are
Last
so
night was
wild.
the Game Awards. Last night was the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Tonight we get home. I watched Mandalorian, catch up on some podcasts. Now we're doing this. So I probably won't get to play it till tomorrow.
Pod on pod on pod. Yeah, I was playing.
Talk about WoW, some World of Warcraft here.
No, I actually haven't played any World of Warcraft. I've been playing nothing but Immortals: Phoenix Rising. To be honest, that game is pretty good. I really like it. It's really good.
So, obviously, you like Breath of the Wild, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying that Immortals takes a lot from that game?
It's the same game. Besides,
do you get the same feeling? Like it's not as it's just like if Breath of the Wild didn't exist and this came out as is, would you feel this would be a goated game?
So the only reason I would say not is because it doesn't feel as immersive of the area, right? Like, Breath of the Wild, like, if you wanted to find out what was over there, you had to go over there, right? With this one, you can kind of scout out the area beforehand and kind of just go to points and just figure them out from there. So the exploration doesn't feel as grandiose in this one as Breath of the Wild did. The combat is better in this, in my opinion. It feels cleaner. It feels more responsive than Breath of the Wild did. If I had to put it, Breath of the Wild is 10 out of 10. I'd say this game's 9 out of 10 with it. It's just a step down, to be honest.
That's awesome.
It's not like I'm having more fun playing it because it's a more approachable one. Like it's not that it's easier, but like just how everything works, it's easier.
Is it linear?
No. I tell you what, man, I haven't done a main quest line in like 8 hours of gameplay. Like, I'm just doing a bunch of different other shit just to level my dude up. So when I go do the main quest, I'm much more... The character development's a lot better in Immortals than it is Breath of the Wild. Like, how your character actually grows and how you can actually change his gameplay to fit what you want to do rather than Breath of the Wild. Now, granted, with this, it's kind of like you can get all the abilities at some point if you just play enough. It's not like a talent tree where like, ooh, if I pick this point, I can't go get that point later on. It's kind of like, oh, this is how I play now. Later on, I can spec into this shit later. But it's good. It's really, really good. It's definitely worth my $10 a month that I'm paying to Ubisoft for right now.
For sure.
So anything else you guys want to talk about today? Any last little bit of news, tidbits? Anything you want to get off your chest? You want to get on a little rant like I did? Go ahead. Feel free.
I think I'm good. I'm gonna look here at my YouTube headlines for any clickbait.
Oh shit! Good. Yeah, say it so it gets into the algorithm. Go.
Yeah.
Shout out Valkyrie.
Yeah, I was about to say shout out Valkyrie. Shout out Valkyrie. Content creator of the weird. Woo! Shout out Sydney.
Hey.
She said, "Hey."
No, nothing. I can't find anything.
I think we had it all. Among Us, Fortnite.
Question. Right before we wrap up. Back to Cyberpunk. One more time. We're back.
Back to reality.
Cyberpunk released kind of shittily, very shittily, whatever you want to say. It's going to be a great game one day, right?
Yeah. Maybe.
Do you think AAA titles see this launch and change their approach to their games? Do you think games start to be released more complete? Because when I look at this, I'm reading this article here. Cyberpunk has already become profitable, well overpaid the development costs, and it's been in development. Andy, you said 2012?
They announced that they were going to be their project. I don't think they started really working on the game till the last Witcher stuff was
released. Years of paying people to develop this game. You got marketing. You got all the stuff from this upcoming year. You're already profitable. Does it really matter how you release the game these days? Or is it just, let's get it out, start making money now, we'll fix it later?
Well, the gaming community is very harsh, and they don't forget things. So, yeah, they might have been profitable this time, but, I mean, if they try to, we're going to be more weary and maybe not throw the money at them as quickly next. But maybe we will. We don't know. Cyberpunk was so unique in the development process and the year that it came out. There's no way to know.
So you have to be Cyberpunk. Like Andy said, you have to be the most hyped up game in the past 3 years, 4 years. Let's take BioWare, for example. BioWare was at the peak of all RPGs, what would you say, 7 years ago? 6 years ago? They had Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. Maybe people didn't like how Mass Effect 3 ended, but it was a great game. Dragon Age was killing it. Everything else they were making, the Star Wars MMO, great. You then have a couple flops with Mass Effect Andromeda and then Anthem. And now we're saying that studio is on fire and doesn't know what the hell they're doing, and we're wary about their next titles. I think you get a couple mess ups if you're great. I think there's only a couple studios that are allowed those couple mess ups. I think Rockstar, I think BioWare, I think Naughty Dog are allowed a couple mess ups, and some don't mess up, like Naughty Dog and Rockstar. You mess up more than once or twice, you will soon become the Blizzard that we're now having to gain back people's trust. I don't think it's a good method. I think to your point, let's say to bring it back, Immortals dropped with all these bugs. No one's playing it. It won't be profitable. No one's buying it in next 6 months. No one's buying it in 3 years. Unless you are Cyberpunk. I think that's the only time that you can actually even think about releasing it too early. Good question, though. I think that's a question that people are start thinking. Like, again, it's a numbers game. Do the numbers match that we can sell enough right now and fix it later, or should we reconvene and the numbers will look better in our favor?
Yeah, I saw Jason Schreier. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to agree and ask another question because I like doing that. So, Andy, you go ahead and now ask my question.
Okay. Jason Schreier, I think he's the one that tweeted this today, that these AAA games are coming out in what appears to be, without being named, early access. Do you agree with that? In the case of Cyberpunk specifically?
So you're saying that these games are actually in early access without being deemed early access?
Yeah, like maybe they should release it as early access. That way the critics aren't there. And it's like, well, you're playing a game that's not done yet.
Go ahead, Joe.
No, I think there's a couple games that did that. I mean, how long did Fortnite say beta when they were making $100 million a month?
I think it still says beta.
Now, see, right? Beta's a workaround on the consoles, because if it's in beta, you can put out patches without having to forego
certify them.
Yeah, certify them. Like if it's in that beta. So once you go to an actual game not in beta, you have to get them through a bunch of processes. But you're correct though. It was still considered early access up until season 4 or 5.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's other games that we've played. Kyle, I'm pretty sure we played. What was that game where you die and become a chicken and run around?
Realm Royale.
Realm Royale, that bullshit, dude. I mean, that said early access.
That had good elements, man.
And that game wasn't buggy or slow. It ran smooth. It was almost complete. They just say that, so nobody can hate if something's wrong.
Life is all about expectations. If you can set someone's expectations a little bit lower, you can reach that bar a little bit better.
Yeah, and there's a part 2 to this, and this is the really wacky part. These early access games maybe charge, the game cost is going up to $70 here shortly. Charge $60, and then once the game's in a version 1.0 state, like an actual version 1.0 state, bump it up to $70.
Oh, that's so how so you get a little bit of the benefit of coming in at the ground level, and then 70 you're paying a premium.
You're suffering potentially for going through the buggy experience, but you're able to play it. You're able to help the developers, because think of the QA on that. If that would be worth $10 per paying customer.
Yeah. I think this is the double-edged sword of games and services. We think games and services as just like Destiny because they bring out new patches. Yo, this would never happen 10 years ago, 15 years ago, because you couldn't fix a game once you released it.
It wasn't possible.
Now that they can actually fix these games, this is kind of like Kanye remastering an album. You're kind of opening up Pandora's box.
You don't really want Kanye to remaster an album right now.
No, but with the Life of Pablo, it made it better. So I don't know. It's wild. I don't think it's good practice. I think gamers suffer. I think it's just short-sighted to me, but I understand it because it's business. Business is usually short-sighted.
Yep.
Any other
All right, my
questions, Joe?
question. Yes, sir. Of course, of course. This is the question I had earlier, and I'm gonna start this by saying that obviously gamers are more connected than ever. I think if you're a gamer, you're generally on YouTube, you're generally watching things about games. So think about that when I ask this question. For the average gamer, part of the 8 million people who are buying Cyberpunk, do you think those gamers are aware of CD Projekt Red? Do you think they care about the studio that it's coming from? Or is it just a game? Because we talked a lot about, CD Projekt Red's reputation. If they do this, the next game that comes out, people are going to be saying, "Oh, do you remember Cyberpunk? Am I going to pre-order this or should I wait?" Um, do you think a casual gamer, an average gamer, is worrying about who the developer is, or do they just look at the title itself and their decision to purchase?
Go ahead, Andy.
I think the short answer is yes. A casual person, like, okay, let's say I'm a casual college student. I get home from my winter semester. I finish off my semester at home because of COVID, and I have 2 weeks to do nothing. I'm gonna buy Cyberpunk because I'm not informed and I don't know that the game's in a broken state. And I spend $60 on this to play it on my boot it up on my PlayStation 4, and I can't play the game. And I
Yeah.
try, and I'm mad. And you know what? I get back to school, or I talk to my friends. Oh, did you have fun playing Cyberpunk? Bro, I couldn't even play the damn thing. That's bad word of mouth. It spreads among casual people. And like, a lot of people aren't as techy. They expect things to just work. They don't know how to troubleshoot things. It's kind of crazy. But I think, yeah, I think it could have an effect. Also, one more thing. Sorry, Kyle. I know you're about to talk.
Okay.
CD Projekt Red doesn't have that. I mean, really, they're not that long-lived of a studio. The Witcher 1 and 2 were nowhere near as widely regarded as great games as The Witcher 3.
Right.
They were also known for being buggy messes.
Yep.
So, I mean, things are kind of in line, and maybe I just think that, the studio's grown, but
Expectations.
things are where, I mean, if you were a betting man, things are right in line with where they're supposed to be, I'd say.
Yeah. Joe, I think the casuals, the majority, might not know who CD Projekt Red is. I don't think it really sticks with them. I think to your point that they will say this game is bad, it'll be a one-off, and they're not going to really know. But to your point, I think where it might become a little different here, because we're bigger average fans than we're bigger fans of video games than the average fan. Like we watch the intricacies, we see what's going on in the gaming industry and all that, and we keep up with it. I think what you're going to start seeing is where, to your point earlier, was the content creating is going to become more of a widely known thing, and I think people are going to be consuming more things like the Good Luck Have Fun podcast. Maybe Linus, maybe all those guys that start talking a little more informed about games. Kind of like how you have in sports, where it's like, oh, I watch First Take. I'm maybe not the biggest sports fan, but I watch First Take. Like you start understanding, like, oh, I know who the offense coordinator is for the Dallas Cowboys now. Like it's just the little intricacies where you consume more content of it, even though you're not the biggest diehard fan of video games or not like a geek. Like you start understanding that. So I think the more we get into it, the more we understand about games. But it's gonna be hard because every other entertainment business, like we never know who the producers of a movie are. Very rarely, like unless it's a Disney movie, then we get it. But we don't know the difference between a Warner Brother movie or a Paramount movie or any of that. We kind of just show up to a movie and like, oh, it's a good movie or not good movie. Now, if you're a geek and you like movies, oh, this was a Disney movie and Disney made a crap movie. Now it's gone. But if I go make a video about it to all the casuals, then that's kind of where the domino effect's going to occur.
Yeah, I agree. See, that was my thing. I think we're so connected now that, even the most casual of gamers will go watch a review on YouTube before it's released, a non-spoiler review. And those people reviewing are obviously really in tune with the gaming industry and can, say their concerns, especially if it's about a publisher or developer. So, no, I agree. Um, I think it's a lot different than when I was for Skyrim, for instance. I wasn't thinking, oh, Bethesda's coming out with a game that's going to be dope. I just saw the title for what it was. Amazing game.
And you saw everyone talking about it. And you were like, oh, Skyrim's dope.
But now, when Bethesda announces a game, my eyes go right to it because I have a good,
Yep.
idea of them in my head. So I think it's different today than it was, and I think
Yeah.
that the publisher, developer, whatever you call it, does matter.
Yeah. Yep. It's going to keep going to it as people get more into gaming and gaming becomes more approachable in every single way. It's just going to be the norm. That's why you need you, Joe. We need you as the casual gamer to let us know what the casuals are thinking.
Listen, my job in this podcast is great. You guys say, "Hey, Joe, did you see this? Did you hear this?" I say, "No." That way you can explain it to the audience. I give that casual vibe back. I love
don't research shit. Just show up. Respect.
Yes, sir.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Anything else, boys? Anything else we want to talk about?
Shout out PS5.
I know Andy's got to get the fuck out of here.
Is there?
I got to go ice
Making
my
some
mouth.
eggnog.
I've just been fucking talking for the past 3.5 hours. Fuck. All right. Thank you guys for listening to the Good Luck Have Fun podcast. Make sure you guys follow us on all the social medias on below. We are now on Spotify, Apple Music, and Google Podcasts. Shout out to them for finally authorizing us. And make sure you guys are listening to us there. Make sure you guys go check out the YouTube. It's lit. It's popping. We out here giving you guys great graphics. Don't, if you want to cover the middle, there's some ugly ass motherfucker in there, but we out here living the dream. Appreciate you guys listening, and thank you to Joe and Andy for being here with me tonight.
It was a pleasure.
My boys. All right, catch you guys next Monday. Hopefully too much shit happens.